Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning, and hope you're having a great start to your day. Hope you had your vitamin C, your coffee, and I hope you had your vitamin W before your coffee, okay? And good morning, Mike. You're numero uno, and Brahim, number two. One and two, two and one, one and two. I don't know how you do it, but you guys are always there at the top. But we are thankful you come on with us. Okay? Leela from Werner, how are you? And who's up here? Friends are coming on. Yvonne, how are you? I want to say hello to a few. Rosa, Linda in Niagara Falls, the kidneys of Canada. Kevin, how are you? Wendy from Markham, good morning. Rosa, how are you? And Kathy, nice to have you on with us this morning. Nick from our staff. And Larice and Cecilia from Sudbury, Joan from PG, Crystal, Aurelia, Bonnie, London, and Rhoda, Labrador, Maria, Ottawa, and Shirley from Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Sandy, good morning. Margie, Kansas, Sherry, Mississauga, and Thea, good morning. Madeleine, bonjour. Kippawa, Quebec. Fran, Orangeville. Lori, Niagara Falls, well represented. Carolyn, good morning from Edmonton. Mary, Nellie, and Sandy in Vancouver, Washington. Suzanne, good morning. Cheryl from Chicago. Nice to have you on, Cheryl. Vera, Newfoundland. Sharon, did I just say from Kansas? Karen, Peterborough. Verna, Markham. And Sharon from Alberta. Rita, Wasaga Beach. Just about ready to go swimming. Yalon, bonjour. Helga, good morning. Gary from Bolton, and Marcia, hola from Mexico, Ann, Kingston, Bruno, North Bay, good morning. Donna, good morning. Doc McEwen, how are you? West Tennessee, Beverly, New Brunswick, Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, Leela from Werner, good morning. Couple of more. Donna, good morning. And Victoria, good morning. Nativity. Beverly. Diane. And guys, don't forget to Lennon Judy from Edmonton. How are you guys? Dave from Muskoka. Brenda, good morning. Okay, let's get to the questions, but just want Olive from Oregon and Joyce from Kansas. When you get a chance, it's Jeanette's birthday from our staff, okay? So you give her a shout and wish her happy birthday. Okay, Serpa, numero uno on the questions. What do you think about berberine? Is it beneficial? Is it harmful? No, I don't mind berberine, okay? The only caution I have, Serpa, is... like berberine in the last couple of years, probably about a year ago and maybe a few years ago, it became like it's the cure-all of everything. And it was, you want to lose weight, take berberine. You want to cure diabetes, take berberine. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, it's not. It's all right, though. I got no problem with berberine, but when people make claims about it that it's going to fix your diabetes, good luck with that. I mean, the only way you fix your diabetes when you realize you have an allergy to carbohydrates. When you figure that out, then you can really, really help diabetes. Like, there's no supplement in the world that's just going to fix that. Again, I'm not against berberine, But yeah, like I said, it's not the be all and end all Serpa. Thank you for the question. Lindy, how are you, Lindy? I recently heard a naturopath say that DIM, okay, DIM is a product that I love, will only work if your estrogen is detoxing through a certain pathway. It can actually create more problems by taking DIM. She was saying not everybody should take it. Well, I disagree with that. And first of all, I don't think everybody needs to take DIM. Okay? If you got too much estrogen, then you want to take DIM. Okay? And by the way, it's broccoli extract. Okay? Very concentrated. And I've proven it to tens of thousands of patients over the year, more than that, that it would block your estrogen. Remember, in my days of not only testing estrogen and progesterone, but I used to do scans where you could show estrogen. Okay, I don't have them with me, but I've shown them in the past, and women would look like they had leper spots. There was so much estrogen on their body. And then you would put them on DIM and lignans, which are found in flax seeds, and you would see that estrogen go away. Okay, so I don't agree with that naturopath. It's DIM is never harmful, by the way. I've never seen it harmful, and some people need it more than others. I take DIM. What? Yeah, 'cause I'm a man. And you know how men, how their prostate grows and grows? Too much estrogen, not enough testosterone for a man. Okay? And as we get older, and I'll tell you, I used to test men, and a lot of men over 50 had more estrogen than their wives. It was incredible. In this day and age of an estrogen-dominant world, I disagree with that naturopath because we live in a crazy world full of estrogen. Every chemical, xenoestrogens, they're all over the place. You ain't going to hide from them. You can run, but you can't hide. How's that? From xenoestrogens. Every plastic, every spray, every chemical spray, every cleaner, chemical cleaner, every fragrance, chemicals, and they're all xenoestrogens. They're all around us. Plastic, all around us. Good luck getting rid of it. You're just not going to get rid of all of it. That's why I love DIM. Okay? That's why I love DIM. I have it in our hormonal formula. Hopefully it's coming back to a theater near you very soon. And then we have it in our menopausal formula. Okay, I put DIM in there. And, well, doc, it's menopausal. Why would I need DIM? Because estrogen is still more, it's still higher than progesterone. Okay? So, Lindy, respectfully, okay, to your naturopath or a naturopath, respectfully, I disagree. Okay. Darlene, many doctors say that dairy causes phlegm. My husband has asthma. How come he can eat dairy? Okay, it's a very, very, very good question. Okay, it is. Excellent question. Look, dairy causes phlegm, okay, when you're allergic to it, when you have a sensitivity to dairy. Not everybody. You know me. Don't ditch dairy, switch it. So 99% of the population will have no trouble if they take dairy in the form of butter, in the form of cream, not milk, in the form of cheese. Okay? The problem is with milk today, it is so sweet that people develop phlegm, a lot of them, because of the lactose. Okay? Now, some very rare get the casein. That's the protein in milk that bothers them. Okay? Or dairy. But again, people never used to get that. I mean it. There was no such thing as dairy intolerances when I was a kid. But today there is. Why? They switched the milk. The high pasteurization, okay? And you're never going to get milk unless you have a cow in the backyard. You're not going to get milk that's unpasteurized. It's against the law in Canada. I wish I could change that, but, in my lifetime, good luck. It's not going to happen unless you have a cow in the backyard. But don't ditch dairy. Switch it. If you have an allergy to dairy and the casein or whatever you call it, but most people it's lactose. And I don't like lactose-free milk, okay? You don't need to drink milk. Drink cream. Because there's very little lactose in cream. Okay? And I don't even want you drinking cream unless you put it in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, or you can have some in your coffee. Okay? I want you to drink water. I want you to drink coffee. That's all. Okay, you teetotalers, you can have a little bit of tea. But if you get used to just drinking coffee and water, you're going to do a good thing for your body. But I love cheese. I love butter. Butter up your steak, Buttercup. Okay. Thanks for that very good question, Darlene. Ted, do you have anything that can shrink a ganglion cyst? Well, listen, dim. What makes things grow? Ganglion cysts. What makes things grow? What makes cancer grow? What makes tumors grow? What makes cysts grow? Estrogen? Okay? It's a growth hormone. Insulin. It's a growth hormone. Cut those down. Dim out the estrogen. Start taking flax seeds. Dim. I like the reset. Because now you're going to lower your insulin. Eat eggs, meat, and cheese. See the hat? See the shirt? Hold on. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay. How do you like those shirts and hats? Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ted, by the way, for that. Okay. Florence, what are your thoughts on psyllium husk for diverticulitis? I don't particularly like that, Florence. The best food for diverticulosis. Okay, what is diverticulosis again? It is pouches in the largest intestine. And it's usually on the left-hand side of your intestine. What do they call it? The descending colon, or I can't remember. Okay? I must have seen, I say a million, but I just because I'm exaggerating. I saw diverticulosis so often. You know what the worst thing for diverticulosis is? Fiber. People are eating salad and spinach. People who get diverticulosis are eating too many nuts and seeds. Like you're not a squirrel and you're not a chipmunk and you're not a rabbit. The best food for diverticulosis is meat, because it's all absorbed in the small intestine. You don't have any insoluble fiber, as if that's a good thing, that goes down your to get out into the toilet. Okay? And I get the thing, because doctors, even today, I had a former patient tell me that their doctor said, well, you've got diverticulosis, you need to have more fiber. And I understand why they say it, because they think fiber's like a scrub. Okay, just going to scrub your bowel. No, it irritates. It's going to give you a big poo. Why do you want that? You don't win a prize for having a big one. Okay? No, I like meat. I like eggs. I like cheese. Okay? Got it? Okay. Okay. So, look, psyllium husk, I'm not against psyllium husk, but not for diverticulosis. I don't like it. Change your diet, drink lots of water, and make sure you're taking bone broth, and make sure you're taking probiotics to heal up that diverticulosis. Diane, does it matter when we drink water? Will it dilute the stomach? No, it don't, okay? Listen, okay? Water is so essential for your body, okay? And only water is water. It takes a beeline to your bloodstream. It don't dilute your stomach acid. That's nonsense, okay? It doesn't do that. And it's, drink water before a meal or whatever. Look, look, it doesn't dilute. I don't drink a lot of water with my meal, but that's just because I don't like drinking a lot of water with my meal. Okay? Okay, so listen. Okay, listen, Linda and Larry. Okay? Drink your water. There's actually studies showing that if you drink, I think it was a half liter of water before a meal, it actually you don't feel as hungry. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't care. I want you to drink 2 liters of water a day, 64 ounces for my American friends. That's the sweet spot. How do I know that? Well, I guess just being old. And, 50 years in practice, just about. Okay? Just about. So, no, that's the sweet spot. No, don't worry about diluting, Look, don't drink too much water at night if it gets you up to go for a pee. Okay? But I love water, guys. I love water. Okay. Cheryl, my lymphocytes have been slowly rising the last couple of years. Anything I can do to stop the rise? Nah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Cheryl, you feeling good? You're healthy? You're eating right? You're saying you're 73 years old and fit. Well, your lymphocytes are just part of your immune system. If they're elevated, not crazy elevated, but if they're slightly elevated, that's all right. Your immune system's working good. Remember lymphatics, okay? Like I'm pointing to my armpits and that. Your body has its own, even your brain has its own drainage system. It's called the glymphatics. And your body's immune system just working. That's all. I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried when you got low lymphocytes. Okay? When you don't have enough. If they're high, you might be fighting something. You don't even know it. Your body's draining. Okay? So, Cheryl, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're eating right and good for you. You're a smart cookie. How's that? Rosa, what do you think of Suzanne Somers' way of eating? She felt carbs and fats can be eaten but not together. I like Suzanne Somers. Okay? I did. Okay? She was a smart cookie. And as a matter of fact, because she got into big time bioidentical hormones, and she was very, very frustrated by, she always took care of herself. What was it? Three's Company that made her famous, right? And you got to be my age to know that. But anyway, Suzanne Somers was a smart cookie, and she got breast cancer, very aggressive, and she was very uptight about it. And she started doing research, like, why am I, who's physically fit, why did I get breast cancer? And she was like this, she was on a mission, and she's helped millions of people because of her mission. And she found an endocrinologist who said, well, no wonder you got breast cancer. You had estrogen coming out your ears. You were loaded with estrogen. You were estrogen dominant. And she had no clue. She had no idea. And she was really upset about that. And one of the, I talked about him before, Dr. Fishman, okay? I studied hormones under him. Like he was the guru of hormones. And taught at the Nova Medical School. Very, very smart man. And I just used to sit at his feet and listen to him about hormones and hormones. I mean, I'm going back a lot of years there. Okay? Now, you asked me another question. Suzanne Somers, about her eating. And listen, I ordinarily I would say to you, look, here's the problem, Rosa. Here's the problem with what she's saying, okay? What she said, by the way. She's passed away now. Here's the problem, Rosa, okay? What Suzanne Somers didn't know, okay? Sounds like a book, because she knew a lot. She knew more about hormones than any doctor I've ever met, except a few. And I mean that. Here was a layperson that studied hormones, big time, okay? And I really respected her for that. Like my audience, you're very smart. You know more about hormones than most doctors do. I hate to tell you that, but that's the truth. Okay? Now, Suzanne Somers, what she didn't know, okay, is that 93% of the population are metabolically unwell. Okay? 93%. That means 7% of the population can eat carbs. And I like what she says. You can have carbs and fats and don't eat them together. You know what a carb and fat is? A donut. Don't eat it. I agree with her. And she's saying, well, you can have carbs like fruits and vegetables, and I agree with that. I got no problem with that. Okay? But the reason I like, and I don't know if she would agree with this or not, but I think I could convince her because she was smart and open-minded. When we have 93% of the population who have trouble in metabolic syndrome, which is high triglycerides, low HDL, belly fat, higher than normal blood pressure, higher than normal, even though it's just slightly above normal blood sugar, okay? Higher uric acid levels. Those are 93% have problems with that. And the problem with that is a hormone called insulin. And you develop insulin resistance when you eat carbs, not protein. Okay? Or fat. Good fat. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Protein and fat together. The way God designed you to eat protein and fat together. Okay? So the problem is insulin. And that's a big problem. 93% of the population are on the Titanic, and they're on their way to heart disease. They're on their way to cancer. They're on their way to Alzheimer's. They're on their way to diabetes. They're on their way to autoimmune disease. Yada, yada, yada. That's why I am so bullheaded. That's why I am so hard-headed. And that's why you can't move me off the rock of eating properly. It's not eating for your blood type. It's eating because you got a problem with insulin. And I've been saying that since the cows have come home. Okay? For a long time. Okay, that's why Suzanne Somers, again, okay, I gave you a long story about her. I had a lot of respect for that girl. Big time. Okay. Joanne, feeling tired and not sure why my back molars are aching. Do you have any thoughts? You may be detoxing. Joanne, your body is adjusting again, even though it's your second reset to fuel. Okay? And I'm not too concerned about it because you're eating the right foods. 100%. Everybody should do the reset. Everybody. And then eat reset like the rest of your life. Live on eggs, meat, and cheese. You will feel better. Okay? And you can have some fruits and vegetables. I don't care. But don't live on them. They're secondary. They're not primary. They're secondary. Okay? Thank you. Christine, I know it's required by Health Canada to have a disclaimer on probiotics about the immune system, but wondering why it says that. Because they don't know the immune system. Christine. It drives me crazy. Well, listen to their thinking. We know that that probiotics help the immune system. Hello? Yes. They finally agree it helps the immune system. But, okay, when you have autoimmune, you should not take probiotics, or there's a disclaimer on it. Okay? It bothers me. It's crazy thinking, because your immune system is much more complex than that. Well, if you have autoimmune, you don't want your immune system to work. Sure you do. You're allergic to yourself. That's what autoimmune is. Your body is going crazy, but probiotics only help you with that. Because what starts the autoimmune? Every autoimmune disease starts in the gut, with leaky gut. The Trojan horse got into your bloodstream because your lining between the blood and the gut got compromised. And it's like the southern border of the United States of America. People are coming in. They're undocumented. Okay? I don't blame them, by the way. This is not a political rant. If I lived look at Haiti today. If I lived there, I'd be trying to get to the United States. I'd swim there if there wasn't any sharks. Okay? No, but look, but the point is, when stuff comes into your bloodstream, like yeast especially, fungus, it doesn't belong there. It comes in through the leaky gut. And leaky gut can come from antibiotics. It can come from chemicals in food. It can come even from non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. People, I got a headache, doc. I'm going to take Tylenol. Okay. But the problem is, it destroys your good bacteria. Sugar feeds the bad guys. And those omega-6s, it creates bad fats, creates a bad environment in your gut, creates inflammation in there. But that's leaky gut, my friend. And probiotics help that. They help fix it. So I get Health Canada, but, again, I wish they would call me. I'd have a conversation with them. Okay? God love them. Ooh. Okay. Chrissy. Can Dr. Martin please talk about perimenopause symptoms? It's horrific. Well, you got hormones. Some people go through perimenopause and they, let me describe it this way, Chrissy, okay? Pretend you're in an aircraft, okay? Have you been in an aircraft and you've gone from point A to point B? No turbulence. Smooth. The flight is unreal, okay? And the wings are just, that's estrogen, progesterone. See my two hands? Estrogen, progesterone. But sometimes you hit turbulence. Woo! Up and down in the plane. And it's a come to Jesus moment, isn't it? Isn't it amazing how people like to pray when they're in trouble? They pray. You ever been in an airplane where you hit severe turbulence? I have. Okay? I have. But ladies, when you get into perimenopause and your estrogen and progesterone, if they're not balanced, woohoo, you can be in big, big trouble in terms of, as Chrissy says, it's horrific. No fun being a woman, huh? Okay. It's no fun. Men, what do we know? We know nothing. What does your doctor know? Nothing. I hate to be negative about hormones, but you ain't dying. You can live with it, and then they give you estrogen. Oh, I go crazy when I see that. I don't like that. Okay. Our menopausal formula is made even for perimenopause, because it does two things. It dims out the estrogen. And the Vitex in there increases your progesterone. That's what's needed, is balance. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. It's an imbalance. And like I said, some women, they go through perimenopause and menopause almost like nothing. It's just because they're smooth. The wings are just all right. Estrogen, progesterone, a little bit of movement, but, but then I got, my office was famous for women with hormones. Famous. Okay. Thank you very much, Chrissy. And I'm on your side, by the way. What do you have for goiter on the thyroid? Well, look at anything that grows. Again, even goiter. Okay? Too much TSH, too much estrogen, too much insulin. I'm telling you, that's where you got to start in the kitchen. Get that insulin down and get the estrogen down. Dim it out. It'll make a big difference even in goiter. Carolyn. My name is Carolyn, and I'm a senior pasta carbaholic. Hi, Carolyn. I like that. I'm one of those you lovingly call skinny as a rake due to very fast metabolism. Okay, and testimonies galore praise one of the benefits of the reset to losing much unwanted weight. That is precisely my problem. I am now literally skin and bones. Will good carbs put on the much needed meat back on my bones? Absolutely not. It will put flab on. Carbs turn to sugar rapidly, and don't do that. Okay? You're skinny as a rake, and you might have fat inside your body, and you don't want that because you can have visceral fat around your organs and be skinny as a rake. You want to cut that insulin down, but I'll tell you the best thing that you can do. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Protein. See, listen, the reset, and I've said this 10,000 times, but I'll repeat it, okay? Carolyn, listen. The reset is the best thing you can do. But Dr. Martin, I don't want to lose any weight. I'm not talking about losing weight. If you have weight to lose, okay, you have visceral fat, the reset is perfect for that. Because it's fixing the problem, which is insulin resistance, okay? Now you're skinny as a rake, but that don't make you healthy. That don't make you healthy. You need protein. You need healthy fat. Because what you want to get, okay? You want to get, Carolyn, the carbaholic, okay? What you want to get is strong. Get strong. You might be thin, but you're going to get strong. Eat eggs, meat, and cheese, and build muscle. You're tiny? Good for you. Now build muscle. Be strong. Be a lean, mean, fighting machine. That's what you want. Okay? That's what you want. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to do these on Monday. I got too much now. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I got too many questions. Okay. You know what? We're going to end it. And we'll pick it up on Monday. Okay? Just too many good questions, and I don't want, and I know I go on rants, guys, but that's just me. When I had my radio show, I was, of course, very limited with time. It was a half an hour on the dot, okay? And the music would come on when I was done. I mean, I was done. And I was still answering questions. Because I go into little rabbit trails, and I have trouble coming back. But that's just me, okay? Okay, guys. We love you, okay? I haven't told you that recently, right? Okay, we do. We thank you very much. Thank you for making this such a successful podcast and live, okay? We appreciate that more than you know, okay? And again, just remember, this is for educational purposes, okay? This is education, guys. I'm like a teacher. That's it, okay? God gave you a brain, use it, okay? Which you guys do. You're so smart. Okay, love you. Talk to you soon.